And did you guys hear that, or was that just for
Mm-hmm.
me? Awesome. Okay, so we're officially being recorded. I want to welcome you guys on this beautiful October afternoon here in Edmonton. I don't know what it's like where you are, to investing in yourself, to invest in this time with Tracy Stewart. She absolutely blew us away at our region meeting. We were so blessed for her to just call up and tell me she was coming. So I was pretty excited about that, Tracy. So thank you again so much for coming out. I know some of it, we have a lot of very experienced leaders and advisors on our team who've been in Party Plan for a long time, and some of the information that Tracy had given us in that day was stuff that we kind of have heard, but it's the way you delivered it, Tracy, and just a get-to-work type of, no fluff. It was just, I loved it. It was so direct and so true, and so I appreciate your teaching style. So I really wanted you to tell these girls, share with them. Yeah, because a lot of people weren't able to make it.
Yeah.
So a little bit about you first, Tracy, and then why don't you just get started?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been with Leah Sophia for 5 years on the corporate side, and prior to my experience with Leah Sophia, I was with another party plan company in the field. So I was doing exactly what all of you are doing right now with Leah Sophia. I built a business with a company called Party Light Gifts, and I was with Party Light for over 18 years, and I started just like all of you started in Leah Sophia. I started with a starter show and a starter kit, and then the rest was history. In my first year in business, I did about 120 shows. I averaged about 120 shows a year for my full 18 years in the company. And I became a unit leader in 3 months. I became what they call a region leader in my first year of business. And then I promoted within just under the 2-year mark to what Party Light considered their top position in the company, which was Senior Regional Vice President. And what included in that title was I actually had 2 Regional Vice Presidents within my lineage. So it's not quite as developed as the Leah Sophia Zone position, but it really was the top job as far as in the hierarchy chart at Party Light. And one of the things that I really felt very proud of in my career with that company is that I really led by example and never asked anybody to do something I wasn't willing to do myself. And one of the core principles within that company that I think is a culture that Leah Sophia shares is that we're in the people business and we're in the business of changing lives. We really have a great opportunity where we empower women, and jewelry just happens to be our vehicle for success. So many of the same principles that I use to develop and grow my business in another company has just been such an asset to me on the corporate side in developing, training and promotions for you out in the field, because, I remember what it's like to just be exactly what you're doing right now, where, you might have young children at home and they're not feeling well, or they have the flu or a cold, and they don't want mom to go out and do the Leah Sophia party in the evening. And I remember all those challenges that comes hand in hand. There's beautiful things about being self-employed. There's beautiful things about setting your own hours and your own schedule. But then on the flip side of that, I appreciate all the challenges that go along with it. And the other thing that I'm really proud of is that this kind of business and the kind of income that it can generate for you and your family, and how you can change people's lives. And I always say, if you don't need the money, someone else does. And so that's why quite often when I would meet with people who'd say, I'm really interested in selling Leah Sophia, but I really have an amazing career and I make great money. I wouldn't, get into Leah Sophia for the money. Then my response to that is, well, then if you don't need the money, then make the money and give it to someone else, because surely in your life, someone else who could use that kind of an opportunity. So in this industry, I think it's really fascinating for me when I talk about my journey and a little bit about what this business can do for people. I was a nurse. I was working full-time in the emergency room, and when I started in the business in 1993, my first year working in direct selling, I made $43,000. My second year in direct selling, I made $73,000, and then in my third year of direct selling, I made $103,000. So I made an incremental six-figure income from my third third year in direct selling moving forward and continue to make a significant six-figure income throughout my entire career. And I thought that I had seen some pretty big money in the company that I was working with, but never ever had I seen the income opportunity that presents you with Leah Sophia. We have a compensation plan that is second to none, and I think that's really our claim to fame within the industry, is that we have women who have been very successful in other companies, and then bam, they give Leah Sophia a try, and they're just so rewarded and feel really, really empowered to be able to share this business opportunity and help other women make just as much money as they are making. So it's pretty powerful. So, that being said, one of the things that really excites me about Leah Sophia is to be able to train other people and share all my expertise and knowledge with you. And Leah, if I'm pausing a little bit, I got kicked out of the meeting, so I'm just going to rejoin. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. All right. Because I was able to see the screen, and then it just went blank on me. So, okay, you know what? I probably don't even need to see the screen, because have you flipped the slide yet for me?
I'm going to flip it.
Okay. As long as you can hear me, that's the important thing. So I really feel very empowered that there isn't anything in this business that a Leah Sophia show can't fix, and that you've heard this a number of times. There isn't anything in this business a party can't fix. So I really, really feel very compelled and very committed that the power of the show, the power of the party, the power of the presentation, whatever you like to refer to it as, it's the vehicle for success where we build relationships with people, we get to know people, we get to meet people. And so I'm really highly motivated when it comes to hostess coaching and really locking arms with that hostess, because sometimes in this company, people have come to me and said, I want to do a trade show, or I want to do a bridal show, or there's certain things that they want to do to put their best foot forward in order to meet the people to build and grow a successful business. And I kind of shake my head a little bit at that, and I say, really the best way to build and grow your business is one show at a time, because think of it this way, your hostess is the perfect people collector. So she is the one that is talent scouting and gathering the perfect audience for you. And I always say you could stand all day, 8 hours a day at a trade show, and you could maybe see 3,000 people or 5,000 people, but of those 3,000 people, only a certain percentage of them are women, and only a certain percentage of those people are even interested in jewelry or a career opportunity. And conversely, what I think is so incredibly rewarding about Party Plan is when I partner with my hostess and really to build a relationship with her, she is the one who does all that people gathering for me. So in other words, when she's excited about fulfilling her wish list and she's really stoked about the jewelry and how wonderful it is and how much fun she's going to have that night, then what she is in turn going to do for me, and sometimes she realizes it and sometimes she doesn't, is she's going to gather 12 or 15 of the most perfect people in that room. She already knows who loves jewelry, who loves to shop, who loves a deal, who came prepared to make some purchases for gift giving. She already knows who has the fashion forward people who like to always be on the cusp of being able to purchase what's the latest, greatest thing. And so what she does is she qualifies or quantifies that audience. So rather than going to a trade show and seeing 3,000 people, I could have the same results. I could get more bookings and more recruits in front of a kitchen or a living room or a family room or wherever you do your Leah Sophia shows, because I know sometimes we used to do them right around the kitchen table or standing at the kitchen counter, and some people, move it into the dining room, or some people move it into the family room. So I think it's pretty cool that my hostess has already done that talent scouting for me, and she's gathered the perfect people for me. So that's why I always think my nursing background always says the show is the prescription, or the party is the prescription for whatever ails you. And so if you think of this business as building your business one show at a time, it's a little less daunting. So rather than, when you hear somebody like me that did on average 120 shows a year, or Leah, she's got so many between her personal performance and so many of the people in her team that are really leading by example, you might look at those people that are doing 13 14 or 15 shows a month and think, I don't think I can do that. I don't even know if that's for me. And what I challenge you is then just even if you do 1 or 2 shows a month, make them the best shows they could ever be. And when you create that whole mantra of conducting and holding a perfect party and being the best presenter that you can be, then you will find that you're going to have magical results and how your business will build and grow and flourish. And someone told me in this industry, they said, Tracy, if you really want to be successful in direct selling and in party plan, which is what Leah Sophia is, then never take advice from somebody who doesn't make more money than you. And I loved that. And I said, repeat that for me again. And she said, no, it's just very simple. She said, I have 2 pieces of advice. If you will do for 2 years what most people are unwilling to do, then you will have in 2 years what most people want. So do for 2 years what most people won't, you will have in 2 years what most people want. So whenever I spent an evening on the phone trying to make calls and book shows, whenever somebody said to me, I would never do that, then I had a little switch that would flip inside my brain and say, Tracy, don't take that to heart. Don't take it as an insult. When someone says to you, well, I can't believe you would do that, I would never do that, what you have to do is flip it in your brain and say, that's right, because you're going to do what most people won't in order to have what most people want. And then the other piece of advice was, never take advice from somebody unless they're making more money than you. And I really got into a habit or a pattern of that when I walked into a meeting, first of all, I never missed a meeting. It didn't matter if my leader was holding a web class or a conference call or she was having a unit meeting or a coffee club, or every single opportunity of training that my leader opened up to me, I went for it, because I thought the only way I'm going to be successful and do the perfect party is to find out what other people are doing around me that are achieving success. And so what I tried to do is, rather than go and sit beside somebody that was a comfort zone for me, in other words, let's say I had a buddy that I met in a meeting, rather than sitting next to someone who was my comfort zone because she was either a parallel to me, maybe she was doing 1 or 2 shows a month, I said to myself, you know what, Trace, if you really want to be successful, sit beside the person that's doing 10 shows a month and ask her what she did to fill her calendar with 10 shows. And so I always like to say, it's never too late to start over. So if you started with Leah Sophia and you think, you know what, I really had a less than stellar start, or I'd really like to restart my business, I really like to position it that, okay, then start over again. It's never too late to restart your business, and how you can restart your business is one party at a time. And I'm a really big fan of personal hostess coaching, and I know that you might see on an upcoming webinar that, I talk a lot about if you, you can do things perfectly and you can do things every step of the way that we say, try this or try that. We all cut corners. I think it's human nature. We all sort of will go through our business guide, or we will log on to Advisor Advantage on Business Assistant, and all those little pop-ups come on board about different tips for this is what you should be doing with your hostess this day. And, that's all very valuable advice, but we all know in our hearts, if we did everything perfectly, we would have the most incredible shows of all times. And so one of the steps that I like to take is, just really making sure that I'm developing a very effective relationship with my hostess. I want to really make sure that she feels really empowered and like she understands with me that we're just going to have a lot of fun that night, and that I'm the expert. She can put everything in my hands, and I'm going to help her have the most successful party of all times. So really getting in touch with that wish list with her, and making sure that she's really motivated and she's feeling really stoked about getting as many people there as possible. So again, a lot of it is about the belief and attitude, and tell people, set a goal and tell everybody. I'm a real big fan of that when it comes to incentive trips. A lot of times people are, I'm really going for Jamaica, but I just don't know, whatever will be, will be. And some of you might be too young to remember this, but I like the whole Doris Day attitude, and that, if you have a Doris Day attitude, whatever will be, then you will get you'll become very complacent, and you'll have a que sera attitude, like, oh, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I was challenged to flip that whole power of thinking and say, if you plan on achieving a goal, tell everyone. And it, like Leah has said a number of times, feel the fear and do it anyway. And I know I always mess that up, but I think that's very powerful. That don't be afraid to tell people I'm earning a trip to Jamaica, because what'll end up happening is people will support you every step of the way. No one will come to you and say, well, I can't believe you said you were earning a trip to Jamaica, because you know what, I heard through the grapevine that you ultimately did not end up earning that trip. I guarantee you no one will say that. They will just have such strong admiration for you that you set a goal, you shared it with others, and that you were just going for it. So I think those are really the things that I've learned over the years, that if I could do it all over again and start over again and know what I know now, these are some of the things that I would, really recommend that you develop as your inside mantra. And Leah, we talked a lot about those 6 habits that I did that led to multiple bookings and recruiting at every party. And some of them might sound so simple, but there's things that I'm so glad someone shared with me. My leader said to me, she said, Tracy, when your host is coaching your hostesses, make sure that your hostess realizes that when she's inviting people to her Leah Sophia party, your hostess needs to remember one thing, that the people who say no to her, that they're not able to attend her show, those people are actually her best booking prospects. And I remember saying to my leader, what? Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, how is my hostess ever going to get a booking from someone if they're not at the show? And she would say to me, no, you're missing the whole point. You need to help give your hostess the words so that when she's inviting her guests to her show and someone responds in a negative way that they're not able to attend, give your hostess the next sentence of what to say. Your hostess needs to say, hey, Sue, I'm having a Leah Sophia party tomorrow night. I'd love it if you could make it. We're going to have so much fun and blah, 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 blah. Then if that person turns and says to the hostess, Barb, I'm so sorry I'm not able to make it. Johnny has soccer that night, or he's got, lacrosse tryouts. The hostess needs to be coached to then say, you know what, Sue, even though you can't make it, there still is a way that you could really help me and participate, and we could have a great show together. Believe it or not, if you book a show with my advisor, you'll be helping me because I am going to get credits for additional bookings for my party. So even if you can't make it, if you book a show with my advisor, you're still helping me even though you're not able to come. So I know that sounds so simple, but if you give your hostess the words, she will, I guarantee you, your hostess will probably get 1 or 2 bookings for you before you even get to the show that night. So give the hostess the words about the people that say no are likely her best booking prospect. And then secondly, I always would tell the hostess, you know what, Barb, one of the things I'm going to share with you is I'm putting a startup brochure in your hostess package, and it's a little bit of information about what comes in our starter kit and the career opportunity with Leah Sophia. So I want you to be aware that when I come to do your show tomorrow night, I will be sharing the information with you. She is always going to say to me, almost always, she's going to say, "Oh, Tracy, thank you so much. I'm not really interested in the business opportunity at all with Leah Sophia. I really respect it. I know how much you love it, but it's definitely not for me. So you can save yourself some time. You don't need to share with me anything about the business opportunity." And that's when I'd always say to the hostess, no, I totally understand. And what I will do is, part of my job about being a great advisor with Leah Sophia is it's my job to make sure every single hostess knows how easy it is to turn her show into a starter show. And it's only going to take me about 3 minutes to explain it to you tomorrow night. And if it's not for you, you might know the perfect person I'm looking for, okay? And she'll always say, fine. But what that does is it puts it on her radar that you're planting the seed that you will be sharing the business opportunity with her the night of her show. Even if she refutes it, even if she says, no, I'm not interested, go ahead and still plant the seed that you will be sharing the business opportunity, because that's just what you do. And make sure that she understands it's just going to be with her, because as a hostess, she has the opportunity to start her business. And then that leads me into number 3, and that is, and I know this just sounds so simple, but it's all the simple things that lead to success in this business, and that is share option A and option B with the hostess the night of her party. And all that simply means is, I would just take a blank piece of paper, and even if we were only 3/4 of the way through order taking, if she had 12 or 15 people in her home that evening, and most of the people had ordered, even if there were still a couple stragglers that hadn't yet placed their order, I would call the hostess into the kitchen or wherever I was doing my order taking. I would take a blank piece of paper and draw a line down the center of it. And then I would just say to the hostess, Barb, you have just been an amazing hostess this evening, and I just want to share something very exciting with you. I think it's so cool that your show isn't even over yet. You still have 2 or 3 people that have yet to place their order tonight, and I want to show you already, even before your show is over, how successful it's been. And then I would just put option A on one side and option B on the other, and just very quickly, it would take about 3 minutes to just say, as a regular hostess tonight with a $750 show, and again, we're not even closed yet. We do have your 2 bookings and the 10 orders, so you will be receiving $300 in product at no charge with Leah Sophia. What's so cool about Leah Sophia is you get things at no price, at half price, and at bonus pricing. So I'm just going to lay that out for you about the rewards that you can expect tonight with being a hostess of a Leah Sophia show. But there's another layer to this that is really, really exciting, and that is, if you decide that you would like to become a Leah Sophia advisor, I'm just going to show you the B side to this, and that is you would still get the free products, so that, the half price, the no price, and the bonus pricing products. And, if you were to decide to become an advisor with Leah Sophia, the bookings that we got tonight would actually be yours to do. So instead of going to your friend's house and spending, $200 each of those evenings, I'm going to give you an opportunity to test drive this business for a couple of weeks, see if it's something you would enjoy, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to make $225 or $300 an evening instead of spending that kind of money. So, these are your friends and family anyway. They love you, they like you, they know you, they trust you, and what better way to see if this is something that you'd have fun at than to try this and as I said, see if it's for you. And then she may very well say to me, this really isn't something I'm interested in. And then I would just say, thank you so much, and now you know how easy it is to get started with Leah Sophia. So if you know of anybody that would be great at doing what I do tonight, or you maybe know someone that could use a little bit of holiday money or pay off a bill, you know how easy it is to get started. And it's just as simple as that. And then step number 4 is the meet and greet. And this is really as I almost should maybe put step number 4 as step number 1, because really in the order of things, I like to call the meet and greet was that initial conversation I have with my hostess the night of the party. So let's say I'm setting up my display and her guests haven't arrived yet. I would always say to the hostess, you know what, Barb, of everyone that you've got coming this evening, who do you think is the most likely to book? And then she would always say, oh, you know what, you really, the person that I think is probably going to book a show is Amy. She lives across the street. She's always having home shows. She loves to do the home show thing. Or the hostess will say, you know what, my best friend's already told me that she's really interested in booking a show. So what I like about doing the meet and greet is that I've really set up that door opening with my hostess that evening, and I've found out from her, of everybody she's got coming, who does she think the most likely is to book. And again, it's not that, it's just like a booking game. The game doesn't get you the bookings, but all the seeds that I plant throughout the evening, and I really do every step necessary and use the hostess to point me in the right direction so that I'm talking to the people that she feels are most likely to book. And then step number 5 is ask everyone. And we really got in the habit of when I was trained in this industry, and it was, Marsha's done this a number of times about the whole cookie thing, and that is we never prejudged or made assumptions as to who would or wouldn't book a show that evening. We were always trained that it was important to offer everyone the opportunity to be one of your future hostesses. So I practiced script after script after script. So my leader literally took a cue card with me, and she just said, these are the words that you say to every single person when they place their order the night of the party. And her script, I had 2 different scripts that I used, but the one that I always sort of defaulted to because it was my comfort zone, I would always say, Lisa, of At every show, I always like to offer everyone the opportunity to be one of my future hostesses, and I really enjoyed getting to know you tonight. You were so much fun, when you walked in the door tonight. You just had this beautiful smile on your face, and it just seems like you're just a magnet to people, and everybody was wanting you to try on all the necklaces, and I really enjoyed getting to know you. And, thinking of your friends and family, is there any reason why we shouldn't get together and share Leah Sophia with them? So it's and one of the reasons why I like that script is it's a script where even if their first instinct is to say no, no in that format means yes. So I'll simplify the script a little bit for you, and it just goes as simple as this. Lisa, at every show, I like to give everyone the opportunity to be one of my future hostesses. Thinking of your friends and family, is there any reason why we couldn't get together and share Leah Sophia with them? Another way to use that script is, and I always like to say, the same words at the beginning. At every show, I like to offer everyone the opportunity to be one of my future hostesses. And then the next sentence you might be more comfortable saying is, I have 2 dates available. I have next Tuesday and the following Thursday. Which of these 2 dates would work better for you? So some people like the choice of 2 dates in their script rather than the choice where the question where no means yes. So it totally depends on your comfort level. But again, we can send you out that script, and I was really a full believer in that practice, drill, rehearse. So always doing the one-on-one booking approach with every single person at the show. And once you memorize the script, you can make it sound different for every person. And once you inject your own personality to it, and I guarantee you one thing, you can say everything right with the wrong attitude and go nowhere, but you can say everything wrong with the right attitude and go everywhere. So what I'm saying is, even if you kind of sort of follow the script and you have a smile on your face and you can kind of laugh at yourself a little bit, you will find that it will be effective for you. So that's why I love scripting, is that, you can mess it up a little bit and still get better results with a script than you can by doing the wrong thing. And the wrong thing is, and I used to do it too until my leader taught me this. Everybody always, defaults to, and, would you like to have a Leah Sophia show? And they always go, nope. And then where do you go from there? So once you get in the habit of using the script, you'll find that your results are they're going to be very profound. And the scripting works, again, that whole principle, when you move it forward and move it into your recruiting habits. And then the 6th step that I was taught, and again, I just believed when my leader, who I really loved and admired and trusted, when she was making $500,000 a year and she told me that these are the things that she did to be successful, I thought, well, who am I to argue? Some people will go to a meeting and somebody will get up and say, well, I do, in order to be successful, I do this, this, and this. And there's some personalities that will sit at the meeting and they will say, well, that's not for me. I don't do that. And I always kind of think, well, how's that working for you? And so when my leader, who made $500,000 a year, was saying, I do Big Mac calls, I would say, tell me more about that. So she just taught me that a Big Mac call, MAC, the MAC, stands for a morning after call. So she would do a morning after call, and I adopted this same habit, and that was anybody that didn't make it to the show got a morning after call. And I'll give you an example of how that plays out. You get to the show last night, you did your Leah Sophia show, and just as about, you were saying to your hostess, okay, we're going to get started, and the hostess will always say to you, no, wait, I can't believe that Lisa's not here. I just bumped into her this afternoon. I've spoken to her less than 2 hours ago, so if you can just wait a few minutes, because I know for sure she's coming. The hostess always has that 1 or 2 people that she is insisting you wait for before you start your presentation, because she just talked to them and they just told her that they were going to come to the show, and then they didn't show. Those are the perfect people for you to call the night of the show when things kind of die down a little bit just before you pack up. I would always turn to the hostess and say, okay, tell me about the 2 people you were waiting for tonight. And she would always say, you know what, it's my neighbor. I just literally, the kids were coming off the school bus. She said, I'll see you tonight. And I'm like, great, we're going to have fun. And she told me for sure she was coming. I'm just shocked she's not here. And I would say to her, okay, let's have a little fun with this, because I can guarantee you it is just totally, life happened and her things just fell apart and something happened after school with the kids and she just totally forgot about it. And I said, are you game? Why don't we call her now? So the hostess will always say, yeah. And I said, okay, I'm going to coach you a little bit on this. Let's call her together. And she's going to immediately be like so sorry because something came up. So this is how the conversation always goes. The hostess calls and says, hey, Lisa, I had my Leah Sophia party tonight. And Lisa's going to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Oh my God, I feel so bad. The kids got off the school bus. I opened my son's backpack. He got D on a test, and we had studied for it. The teacher wanted a note. Now I got totally derailed, and I'm so sorry. I don't even know what happened to my brain. I totally forgot about your party. That's where you coach the hostess to say, well, listen, my advisor still is sitting here. Her name is Leah, and there is still a way that you can help me have a fantastic show. My advisor tells me that I actually get even more jewelry rewards by having bookings at my show, and I think you'd be a great hostess. And she's sitting here with me. Can I give you an opportunity? Do you have time to speak to her? So then I would just get on the phone with her either that night or the next morning, and it would just be, listen, she just had a terrific show. We're so sorry that you were not able to make it, but we'd love to give you the opportunity to be a Leah Sophia hostess. We'd like to spoil you rotten with our hostess program. Thinking of your friends and family, is there any reason why we couldn't get together and share Leah Sophia with them? So those are the Big Mac calls to the surprise no-shows at the show that evening. And then the other people that get a Big Mac call are the people that I didn't meet the night of the show. In other words, the hostess would have obtained an advance order from her, and then I would just call to thank her for her order. So the call would go something like this. It would be, hey, Lisa, this is Tracy Stewart. You and I have never met before, but I did Leah's show last evening, and I want to thank you so much for your order. You just did a bang-up job on your order. You are going to love your Leah Sophia jewelry. You've got an amazing taste because those things are just so lovely. You're just going to be thrilled with them. I wanted to let you know, did Leah happen to mention to you how much jewelry she received at half price, no price, or bonus pricing last night? And then she would always say, no, I haven't had a chance to talk to her. And I'd say, well, that little monkey might be a little afraid to tell you that she actually received about $750 in jewelry in total between her hostess rewards, half-price items, and bonus gifts. And I would love to share the opportunity with you to be one of my future hostesses. We will have so much fun. I'll spoil you rotten with this hostess program. And, thinking of your friends and family, is there any reason why we shouldn't have some time together and share Leah Sophia with them? So again, it's just placing those calls to the people that you didn't have an opportunity to do a one-on-one booking approach with the night of the show. And I would do this call as well. You always have those wonderful, lovely, darling guests that buddy up on an order form. And there's always the one person that you didn't get a chance to sit with. Those people would also get a morning after call as well. And it would be like, hey, it was so crazy at the show last night, I didn't have an opportunity to really sit and review your order with you, and I'd love to give you the opportunity to share Leah Sophia with your friends and family. So again, it's really all about more kicks at the can. And what I love about any kind of party plan opportunity is if you really believe that you have the best hostess program to offer everybody, then when you're sharing the opportunity to be one of your hostesses, you're really doing it from the heart because it's a gift. It's an offer. It's a gift. It's a present. It's a way of helping them in their lives have some beautiful jewelry and giving them the best discount possible, which is our hostess discount. So what I really love about that whole mantra is if you really believe and you're doing it with the right spirit of intent, then making morning after calls are really fun calls to do because you have some exciting news to share about how great of a show took place the night before, and how you'd like to be able to share that opportunity with her as well. So again, these are really the things, that 6 small steps that really kind of put it together for me. And again, I'm just going to kind of review them, and that was the people that say no are the best booking prospects. So when the hostess is making her invite calls, always tell the hostess that I'm going to share the opportunity with her the night of her show. Even if she resists, and even if she says it's not for me, I would always tell her, part of being a good ambassador for Leah Sophia and part of me doing my job is to make sure that for 3 minutes, I need you to know how easy it is to get started with Leah Sophia, because if it's not for you, it might be for someone perfect in your life. Then the third thing is to always share the option A and B with her. And if you're keeping it brief, and if you're not trying to recruit her, she's just a lead. I think that people take too long on option A and option B if they're trying too hard to recruit people. And I always say, don't try to recruit your hostess. Share the information with her. And then you can always circle back with her the next day before you hit the submit button on your show. I mean, I would love to do that. Just sort of do the option A, option B, particularly in front of the husband. Just say, hey, you're going to spend $225 at each of your friends' shows, or you can earn $225 by doing them yourself. You can see this wasn't rocket science. You can see it wasn't brain surgery. And usually when she says, oh, no, it's not for me, I pack up and I leave. And the husband turns to the hostess and says, are you crazy? She just told you that we could put $500 in our family income pocket. We could earn $500. The hostess husband is usually the one that says, give your head a shake. You should call her tomorrow. And that's when I would like to, when we close the show, I would always say, hey, I'm just about to hit the send button on your show. And something in my heart, I had that little niggle inside of me. I just wanted to circle back with you one last time. Are you sure you didn't want to take this opportunity to start your business with Leah Sophia? And then that just gives her that, and then she'd go, it's funny you should say that. My husband talked like incessantly about this after you left that night. So that's why I say keep option A, option B really quick at your show, because you're just planting the seed. Don't try to recruit people, just drop the seeds. And then number 4, making sure that, before everybody gets there that night at the show, say to your hostess, of everybody that you've got coming tonight, who do you think is the most likely to book? And then number 5, ask everybody, don't skip anyone. Every person deserves the opportunity and the chance to be one of your future hostesses. And number 6 is the Big Mac calls. And again, simple steps, but they really, really paid off for me. Leah,
Awesome.
Is there anything else you can think of that I said when I was in Edmonton that really stuck with you that you'd kind of like me to revisit here on the recording for the rest of your team?
Well, I just really, really loved offering the opportunity right and out of the gate, and just saying, because, we do train that, have some information about the business, and as your hostess coaching, and say, here's, we also have a awesome business opportunity here. But I like specifically your verbiage. I always, I always offer our opportunity to our hostesses, right? I just really like that, so that they're prepared for that. And I don't like to leave anybody else out, and have a look. I do have some information here in your package, and if you have any questions leading up to your show, let me know. I'd love to, I can even sit with you. I like to even say I'd love to even sit with you for coffee, and I can show you how this could work for you. But it's just, making sure they know that you are going to be asking them the night of your show, because it does. It plants the seed, and you're like in the back of their head, and they're not going to think about it at all. And I like to tell people go to the shows because, they committed to their friend. It's a good friend, right? They they go to shows usually deciding to buy X amount of dollars with a budget. Some might be kind of thinking about having a show, maybe, right? Because they know what that expected. But nobody's going to a show to plan to start the business. So it's, that is our job, to start planting those seeds. So I really like that. So thank you.
And you know what's kind of cool, because I remember people coming up to me and saying to me, Tracy, you're such a good recruiter. How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? And they always hated my answer. But my answer was always this: I just book a show with them.
Mhm.
Everybody always is trying to recruit people, and then I always say try to stop recruiting them and try to reward them with the best hostess program in the industry. Because regardless of whether she starts or not, why would you go through the energy of meeting with her to try to recruit her when in the end she still needs to have a show?
Yeah, exactly.
So quit trying to recruit people and try to share the business or share the hostess opportunity with them, because that's the biggest recruiting technique of all, is when you show her how easy your job was. There's nothing better that lays a better foundation for whether or not she can do this business. And that's why I was always committed to multiple bookings. In that if I just go to do a show tonight and I only get one booking, it's really hard for me to turn to my hostess and say, this would be perfect for you. You've got one booking, but really in order to lay the right foundation for your business, you really need 4 to 6 shows on your calendar. It's way easier if I got her 3 bookings. Mm-hmm. So if I've hostess coached her and she's got one booking from her doing her invitations and someone saying no, and I gave her the words to say, you should have a show. Even though you can't come, you should book with my advisor. She's great. So if I've got a booking that way for her, then I get a booking the night of her show, and then we get another booking from doing the no-show call, like for the person that she was convinced wasn't going to miss the show that night. If I sit with her and say, you got 3 bookings tonight, my calendar is nuts. I need you to do these 3 shows to see if it's something you would enjoy, because I'm so busy. And that really worked for me when they could see that my business was bountiful, my business was plenty. So when I opened up my own scheduling calendar and they could see that I had an abundance of bookings, that bookings were easy, that's the other thing that made it very exciting for them to start, because they saw how easy it was for me to get multiple bookings, so they believed that they could start and get multiple bookings too. I think it's one of the things that holds people back from starting, because they think, I'm really interested in starting, but what if I can't get the shows? Mm-hmm. But if she sees me from show to show to show get 3 bookings at every show, then she thinks, okay, I've seen how this chick does this. I know
and they
I can do
they
it.
Watch. They absolutely watch. Yeah. So people starting our team now are people who've been watching that advisor or that leader for some time, a lot of them, because they're just sitting back and watching. And then when, you're offering that opportunity that yet again to them, then they're ready to take it off because they see the success that you've been having.
Yeah.
And giving people the words to say is also really, really awesome. Giving your hostess the words to say for collecting her outside orders and bookings. Yeah. I know the girls have already had success with that, because they're, they went, oh my gosh, my hostess was totally fine with me getting the words to say. Yeah. So I have a question here. No, she's full. Okay. I was wondering if you could speak on how to coach your hostess to a full guest list and how we can encourage for a bigger group in attendance. So that's coming from Angie Morrow.
That's a great question. And I always, and people are going to laugh when I say this, but big shows beget big shows, small shows bring you small shows. And so my best advice to you, if you want to have parties where always 12 to 15 people are sitting in the living room, you've got to have one perfect party where 12 or 15 people are sitting there, because that becomes everybody's expectation. Mm-hmm. So if I do a party and there's 15 people sitting in the kitchen or standing around the kitchen, and it's standing room only, when your hostess is saying, okay, young people sit on the pillow on the floor, and anybody 50 and up sits on the couch or whatever. When you have one of those shows, I guarantee you every single person from that show understands they have to pack the house when they are your future hostess. So the trick is to put everything you've got into one of your parties and make one of your parties a perfect party. And I'm a really big proponent in personal hostess coaching.
Yeah.
Now, some people might say to you, Tracy, that's ridiculous. I have got, 8 shows on my calendar, 6 shows on my calendar, and I work full time. And if you're suggesting that I should actually go and make an appointment and physically sit with my hostess to hostess coach them, then I think that you're full of baloney, and that's not realistic. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you only have 1 or 2 shows on your calendar, you do have time to meet with them and do some personal hostess coaching. And believe me, my schedule was down to 0. I went from at the height of my career, I remember one November I had 49 shows on my calendar. In 1 month, 49 shows on my calendar. However, make no mistake about it, there were other times I would turn the page in my calendar book, I had no shows up. 0. Because I had recruited myself out of booking chains. I'd gotten out of the habit of making my personal business my number 1 priority. So I had to start over just like everybody else, and that was get a perfect party. So what I would do is I would personally hostess coach that hostess, and I would book hostess coaching appointments just like I would book a show. So if, Amy decided, hey, I'm going to be, I'm going to book a show, I'd say, Amy, okay, your show is for November the 20th, but what I'd like to do is about the 1st of November, I'd like to come and meet with you and totally help you plan the perfect party. And I would visit her with a jewelry roll and develop her wish list. So develop that personal relationship with her, take the time to meet with her, show her some of her top picks, get her very excited about the jewelry, and then I would teach her how to over-invite. My biggest pet peeve, and I'm actually going to cover this on the webinar this month, everybody always says to the hostess, oh, make sure that, you get your friends to bring a friend and then they get a gift. And I always say, you need to be way more specific than that. Mm-hmm. And what do I mean about that? I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So in other words, let's say I'm the advisor, Leah, you're my hostess. Okay. I'm going to sit down with you and we're going to have a stack of invitations, postcard invitations in front of us. And then I'm going to say, okay, Leah, I'm going to show you a technique that guarantees every single person that comes to your show is going to bring somebody that you've never met before. And then we would get 10 postcard invitations out, and I would say, Leah, let's write 10 invitations right now. So you got your mom, your sister, your best friend, your neighbor, the girl that you play ball with, another girl that's one of the kids' friends, mothers, blah, blah, blah. Let's come up with those 10 names right now. Okay, so your neighbor, Lisa, who does she talk about all the time that you've never met? And then you say to Lisa, Lisa, I want you to come to my Leah Sophia party next week, but write on her invitation, Lisa, be sure to bring Amy, the girl that you play ball with. Mm-hmm. Or Barb, bring that girl you walk with every morning. What's her name? Sue? So on you have to teach the hostess, instead of bring a friend, get a gift, the hostess needs to specifically say to her friends, even to her sister-in-law, to say to the sister-in-law, who's that girl you do lunch with every day at the office? What's her name again? Oh, her name is, Sue. Well, bring her. The hostess needs to tell her friends which friend she wants them to bring. Because if you just say bring a friend, get a gift, it's too generic, and they think, oh, everybody says that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it will make your guest list explode, because even if she really only has 6 people definitely coming, if she's told all 6 of those people who to bring, there'll be 12 people sitting in the living room.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So we have another question. We have, how likely are you to actually connect with the person who are calling the next morning for the Big Mac call? If they don't answer, do you leave a voice message?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely leave a message. So remember, the purpose of the Big Mac call isn't always that 100% of the time you're going to be able to connect with them. It's more that you've built the relationship and you've done the customer service. Sometimes they're so blown away that you actually tried them, they can't believe it. Like, how often does somebody actually call an outside order that you've never met within 24 hours to thank them for their order? and to say, I would love to share with you how much, the hostess received for having her Leah Sophia party, and I'd love to spoil you rotten with the same hostess program. Call me because I've got 2 open dates left, and I wouldn't, I'd love to be able to share that with you. So go ahead, definitely leave a message if you don't get her. It's
awesome.
Just like a customer care call. The danger is not that you're not going to get people. The danger is that you never make the calls.
Mm-hmm. But you're always coming from a place of giving, and I think that's, and it's listening to you. It's coming right from your heart, which, is we get nervous and because we're thinking of what we have to gain, right?
Yeah.
So in your case, you're really focusing on what you have to give, because that is, other than starting an advisor, that's the best way. Being an advisor, that's the best way to collect with Leah Sophia.
Yeah. And I think when you really, and that's why, even the first slide we talked about today was belief. Mm-hmm. Get your belief in check. And if you do everything with the right spirit of intent, you'll be fine. If you really do it because you love Leah Sophia, you love the hostess program, you love the jewelry, then you won't be able to do anything wrong because you're doing it for all the right reasons. And one of the things, I guess, why I'm so excited about Leah Sophia is I've never seen a hostess program that gives 40% of their hostesses and it doesn't cost the advisor a fortune. A lot of companies, the advisors pay for the hostess program. And with Leah Sophia, as I said, is it $15 for 20? For the other 40%?
For the other 40%, yeah.
Yeah. So, what is more extraordinary than that? In the company that I was with Party Light, the show had to be a qualified show, so even if it was $1,000 show, the most I was ever able to give my hostess was 25%, and there had to be a booking dated within 30 days. And because that was all we knew, we thought 25% was golden.
And we have to also remember. We also have to remember our lifetime replacement guarantee, and I loved how you touched on that at the region meeting and I was with another company as well, and if people had a problem with their product after a certain period of time, I was buying them product to keep my customers and my chains happy because I was not able to get them replaced from the company.
No.
So to be able to have this
the
lifetime
cost of doing business for other company, I guess you only know what you know, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess it was like when I came to Leah Sophia and saw there was no real advisor cost. In other words, when I was offering my hostess the most generous hostess program in the industry. So I kind of felt like shouted out to the world, because 40% is unbelievable. Like I just remember thinking, how can this be? So and I really encourage you to do the research. What you'll find is that not only is our hostess program very generous and one of the most generous in the industry, but it's also easy.
And it's at no cost to us other than the $6. There's lots of hidden costs behind the scenes that gets deducted off their paycheck when they do have a generous hostess program that we don't pay for. $6 for as much as we give is so exciting.
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, that you have happy customers and happy hostesses. Anytime it's just reaffirming it with the hostess. Like, it's so important to me that I really want all your friends and family to be super, super happy with their stuff, because if they're not, there's a lifetime guarantee. And always just saying to them, we don't guarantee that it's never going to tarnish, it's never going to break, it's never going to have a stone fall out. What we guarantee is that you'll always be able to get a new one for $5. So don't make any false claims about fashion jewelry. It's fashion jewelry, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, we do pride ourselves on using genuine stones, and you the cubic zirconia crystals to get that, and you can tell the detail in it is exceptional. And we do have designers that design our jewelry exclusively for Leah Sophia, which is also unique in what we're doing. But at the end of the day, it's still fashion jewelry, and we're hard on jewelry. Yeah, they don't take their rings off. They don't, they're yanking all the bracelets off when they're having a stack. They're all coming off at once.
Yeah. So
And that's just so great that they can abuse it, and for $5 they get a new one rather than just chuck it in the garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other questions, anybody? I think we've got a few more. You can *6 and unmute yourself if you'd like to talk directly to Tracy if you're on the phone. We've got a few minutes left.
I was looking in the style guide because something funny happened to me yesterday when I was coming back from Montreal. That ring, it's called Wild Rose. I had to look up the name of it. And I was leaving Montreal. We were just checking out the site for a conference and looking at the Sheraton. And oh my goodness, it's just so beautiful. And I was at the Montreal airport, and I was just doing my baggage drop, and I handed the Air Canada attendant my boarding pass, and as I put my suitcase down on the conveyor belt, the Air Canada attendant said, "Oh my gosh, your ring! Oh my gosh, your ring is so beautiful! It's so beautiful!" So I took it off my right ring finger and I handed it to her. These were her exact words. She said to me, "Did a designer make this for you? Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful." And I said, "Yes, a designer did make that for me." I said, "That is an exclusive Leah Sophia design. Have you ever heard of it?" And she said, "I've never heard of Leah Sophia." But I thought it was so interesting. Her exact words, "Did a designer make that for you?" And I said, "Yes."
Absolutely.
And so I left her with,
and some
I gave
people,
her the ring. We exchanged business cards, and she's a lead, so I just thought that was really exciting. And she, there's fashionistas galore in Montreal. I mean, they're all about the fashion world. So she initially knew, like just the design of that ring, that it was very special.
Awesome. I have a question. This is Noreen.
Oh, hi, Noreen.
Tracy, if you want, I can follow up with her.
I gave it to somebody in Montreal.
She doesn't miss a beat.
That's good, though, Noreen.
My question is, will you be able to write out your verbiage and upload it, or can we get it on? I was trying to take notes, but I try to listen so carefully that I don't end up writing it all down. So,
yeah,
are you able to write out your verbiage? So, I know you have tons of time in your day, so all of it.
All of it. I have this recorded, so we can listen to it over and over and over again, which is going to be fun.
I'll re-listen.
And I do believe on your booking scripts, I do have your verbiage on those booking scripts that I have on the Team Connection. Is that pretty much the same, Tracy?
Yeah, and I think I gave them to Denise, and they were Tracy's words of wisdom. And we call them all my booking scripts and all my recruiting scripts are there as well.
Awesome. Okay, I will upload that again.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Okay. And I feel guilty, and this is something where I feel really, really committed about this. Even though they're my scripts, they're not my scripts. I was taught them by other people. And so sometimes I feel guilty even calling them Tracy's words of wisdom or whatever, because I am who I am today only because of other women and other women giving me their words, and they would always say, these are the words that work. And the difference is it's belief. If you believe them and you know that they were shared with you in the spirit in which it was intended for, then you're going to be successful with those words.
I have one more question here, and it's Angie Morrow. She's new, and I am a new advisor, so I'm wondering what if you could both give me your number one tip for a successful start. I'll let you start, Tracy.
For a brand new advisor, I would say the biggest tip I would ever offer anyone is to tell everybody that you have just done a grand opening of a brand new business. And by that I mean get out and literally have your family brainstorm with you. And that is tell every single person that you are connected to through friends or family that you have just held a grand opening of your business, whether you've just held your starter show or not. And that is meet with your mom, meet with your dad, meet with your sister, meet with your husband, meet with your kids, meet with your best friend. And here's the questions that you need to say to them. Of everybody that you know, who do you think is the one person that should book a show with me to help me get my business started? and that is helping your friends and family network for you. And I'll give you a perfect example of that. When I first started in Party Light back in 1994, my best friend was she was also a nurse because we went to a nursing training together at Fanshawe College, and she had really become very successful and was married to one of the top dental surgeons in London. And for some strange reason, I had this block in my mind and in my heart. I said to myself, I'm going to call her and tell her that I've just started with this company, but I'm going to wait until I've done 5 or 6 shows until I feel more confident, because I know she'll book a show with me, but I want to get some training under my belt so that when I call her, I've kind of had a successful start, and then I can go and do a show for her, and I'm going to be a really good presenter. So I waited a few weeks before I called her, and I said, Leslie, you're never going to believe this. I know you're going to think I've totally lost my marbles, but I'm selling Party Light, and she's like, oh, what? I said, yeah, I know you probably think I'm crazy because everybody, is like, what are you doing? And then she's like, Tracy, I just had a Party Light show last week. Oh. And I'm like, what? And she was quivering on the phone. She was like shaking, almost crying on the phone. And she said, when did you start with them? And I said, well, I started about 5 weeks ago. And then she said, well, I would have never booked a show with this other person if I'd known it was that you were selling this. And that just goes to show you how quickly someone else will get to your contacts before you do. So she ended up, this was back in 1994, and she had a $2,000 show, and the advisor that did her show for her got 5 bookings. And I missed that because I hadn't gotten to my contacts quickly enough. So what I suggest you do is you need to treat it like the grand opening of a business, just like if you were going to open up a flower boutique on the main store, the main drag of your hometown. You would have flyers. You would call everybody in your family. You would tell everybody to tell everybody that the only place they should ever get flowers from is from you. They would take things to work. They would take things to the neighbors. They would take things, and that's how you have to treat the grand opening of your Leah Sophia business. So when when I sat with my mom, I said, Mom, of all of your friends, who do you think absolutely I need to do a show for that would help expand my business opportunities or my, into who knows people? And my mom would say, oh, you've got to call so-and-so. I don't know if she would have a show, but her daughter is one of the big wigs at Spectra or Duke Energy or whatever. So it's all about networking to get those connections in the beginning to get you into those really big booking chains.
And different circles. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. I'm sure that helped you out a lot, Angie. My tip is, like you're doing today. So if you're on this call, you're investing in your business. And, I was really shocked when my daughter was applying actually for hostessing. And she got a job at BP's, and she had 12 hours of training through the computer to be a hostess at BP's. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, if I could get my new people on my team to even do 4 hours of training, I think, what a business they would have. So, at treating, and like you said, treating it as a business, as, you are as a real business, right from the get-go really does make a difference. And just doing the initiative and trying, feel the fear and do it anyways. And that, I had to, and that ran through my head. Every time I felt the fear, I was like, okay, this is normal. Keep taking a step, right? And just really offering from your heart. So, we have the training programs out there for you. Work with your leader. We're all part of the same team, and all we want is for, them to experience success that we're experiencing, whatever level they want to. So, no, that's awesome. So I think that kind of wraps up today. So thank you so much, Tracy.
You're so welcome.
For
My
being
pleasure.
part of this. And, congratulations to those of you who are on this call and who are going to be listening to the recording that I will have up tonight. And just a quick reminder, to really just work hard on finishing your October strong. These gem kits are huge. And when you do 4 shows or more this month, you do get that gem kit, which is valued at $300 in jewelry, which is new spring, summer 2015 styles, and that you can add to your kit for just $40. So unbelievable. Plus they also have, Be a Sales Superstar. For those of you who are rocking it, really, as you start doing shows, you're going to find that, before you know it, you're going to be up to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. And our show average is so high. And if you take these tips from Tracy, you're going to notice, your show's average is going to go up by hundreds of dollars, which I'm so excited that she was able to share this. So take it and start using this. And then before you know it, you're going to be sitting at that $5,000 or more personal recognition sales. Then that's going to give you that $250 extra premium for October. So don't move into November yet unless you're completely full up. You still can offer those dates next week if you have dates that you need to fill, because honestly this sale is the best. So, when you can get Leah Sophia half price, the last ticketed item, it just doesn't get better than that. So, again, no, awesome. Thank you so much. And we got some great response already. So thank you, ladies. What a fantastic hour. And have yourself an awesome day.
Leah.
Thank you, Tracy.
Okay. Bye now.
All right. Bye.
Bye.